and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Devan. In a major success during the ongoing anti-Maoist operation of the central government, 66 Maoists, including 49 carrying a cumulative bounty worth Rs 2.27 crores, have surrendered in the Bastar region of Chhattisgarh. The Maoists, including senior operatives and women, have surrendered across the 5 districts of Bijapur, Dantewada, Narayanpur, Kanker and Sukma. Many of them were reportedly involved in high-profile attacks, extortion networks, ambushes against security personnel and arms training camps. 25 Maoist cadres surrendered in Bijapur, and according to reports, 23 out of them had a bounty of 1.15 crores. 15 Maoists also surrendered in Dantewada with a cumulative bounty of 17 lakhs and 13 in Kanker with a total bounty of 62 lakhs, 8 in Narayanpur with a bounty of 33 lakhs and 5 Maoists in Sukma. Among the entire group of Maoists who have surrendered, 27 are women. The Maoists laid down their weapons before the Central Reserve Police Force, the Border Security Force, the IDPP and police personnel. Speaking of the Maoists who surrendered, however, in Kanker, one of them was a Maoist company commander who handled tactical operations and logistics in the North Bastar zone. The rest were involved in extortion from villages and attacks on road opening parties. Following their surrender, the Maoist cadres will be provided a financial assistance of Rs 50,000 each and will be rehabilitated under the state's surrender and reintegration policy. But what does this truly mean for Mission Sankalp, launched by the Indian government with a promise that India will be Naxalism free by March 2026? I take that conversation forward. With me on the broadcast, Major General Dhruv Katoch. We also have with us Mr. D.M. Awasthi, former DGP of Chhattisgarh, and R.V.S. Mani, former Under Secretary of the MHA. Let me begin with, if I may, Mr. Awasthi. Mr. Awasthi, I want to understand from your perspective, sir, what would it have taken for us to be here today discussing the fact that 66 Maoists have in a single day given up their arms and have decided to reintegrate with society? Mr. Awasthi, we're not able to hear you. If you can connect.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Last 1.5 years, we had massive operations in Chhattisgarh, and it has given a tremendous demoralization to the cadre, and this is why we can say almost more than 1,500 Maoists have surrendered in last 1 year or say so. And this event, like Maoists surrendering 65 Maoists in one day, is like a big success, I'd say, for the security forces. This is due to tremendous pressure of security forces in the inside area, and the quality also, not only the quantity but the quality is also important. And we are seeing many cadres are just leaving the arms and coming to the mainstream, and this is the success of not only Naxal eradication program but also the government's policy to rehabilitate the Naxal. I think this is the main reason of all this.
Okay, but Mr. Awasthi, for our viewers who may not understand the intricacies involved in such operations, I just want you to help us understand a little bit better. When we talk about the government wanting to reintegrate Maoists into society, what does that truly entail?
The Maoists are not coming from outside. This is our internal security problem. Many people have joined Maoism in 60s and 70s, and now since last 30-40 years, they are propagating their idea of against the democracy and the power by ballot, not by ballot, but by bullet. So this was their ideology, and so many people have joined, especially in Chhattisgarh or in Orissa or in Telangana, mostly tribal people have joined because they had probably swayed away by their ideology or their brainwashing at the very young stage. So they went with them. Now, after seeing that there is no like what they dreamt of, a good country, good nation, what we will give you through revolution. So it is all gone vain, and they have realized, people have realized they are fighting defeated battle, because you can't fight your own country, your own nation. So that is the main reason people are now disillusioned, and they are leaving Maoists. In last, if you say 5-10 years, many, I mean more than 10,000 Maoists or their cadres have surrendered. And last 1 year, especially after when Home Minister has when he has declared that country will be free from Maoists by March 2026, many number of Naxalites have been either arrested or killed in encounter, or now they are surrendering. So I think this will go on, and as soon as they are getting opportunity to leave the cadre, they are coming to mainstream, and government is also rehabilitating, giving them jobs, giving them some field, something to go for employment kind of thing. So they are happy. I have met many surrendered Naxals. They are happy leaving Naxalism and living in a peaceful life after surrendering.
Okay, then that brings us to the next main question, and I want to take that forward with Mr. RVS Mani. Mr. Mani, I want to understand from you, sir, what in your assessment has then changed in, say, the past decade for us to have come to this day today where the Home Minister can comfortably stand and say that we are going to try by March of next year to make sure that India is Naxalism free? Because I don't want to go back into the history of the 70s and the 80s. I'm not even talking about that century. Let's not go back into that and question the governments then. But if we were to talk about simply this century, we had 25 years to take decisions, to take a call. I want to understand from you, sir, what's changed in the last 10 years or the last decade, basis what Mr. Awasthi, former DGP of Chhattisgarh, has told us, that he has seen a shift himself in the past decade of many Naxals wanting to surrender.
Thank you, Devina. Thank you very much. Good evening. I would take it like this. Mr. Awasthi, my respected previous speaker, had beautifully put out the template. See, the template has enlarged. Earlier, it was seen as a security solution to a security challenge. Now that things have improved, now the thinking has been to co-opt them if they are willing, to de-radicalize them, to drive them away, either way. See, those who are hardcore, who do not want to relent, get into a encounter with the security forces, and of course they have made their own fate. But the template, see, I would take you to the Andhra Pradesh when it was combined, Telangana side part of it. The Operation Greyhounds had done a beautiful job of driving away, but they only drove away the Naxals to the other part, a neighboring state. But whereas here, that was a security approach to the solution, but now it's a very good solution, it's very effective for the state concerned. But now the entire template is a holistic solution backed by a very powerful political resolution, politically, where they are very resolute about tackling this. So as a result, the Honorable Home Minister has very clearly claimed, as Mr. Awasthi also pointed out, if they are willing, we will rehabilitate them. The state will rehabilitate them, bring them into the mainstream, forgive the mistakes, pardon the mistakes of the past, and they can contribute value add to the country's development. If they do not want, we have the other options already there, whether it is Narayanpur or whether it is Sukma or wherever it is. Encounters are there. Our security forces are also resolute, but they are not heartless. That is what is the very crux of the matter, and the template is beautifully changed, and Mr. Awasthi had pointed out the different hanging fruits of the template, that look, if you are willing to come with the government, please do come. See, basically the seeding part, as you said, we are not getting into the 1980s and 90s. The seeding part, the radicalization part, first that has been addressed. That has been addressed in several ways. The government has its own views. They have ways of communicating with the citizens, the interest groups and all. And more importantly, the most important point, the fund flow to Naxals. Either it was through Rangadari earlier, 20% in contracts or whatever it is, that has been curbed because the political pressure out of that has been eradicated. As a result of that, that is a very major source of fund. Of course, funds were coming from outside the country also. Huge amount of funds were coming. That has also been tackled. So, fund is the very lifeline of these type of militancy, terrorism, Naxalism. So, that has been cut out. Along with that, we are co-opting through development, through education, through skill. Maybe there are a lot of Government of India programs like the Kaushal Bharat, Kushal Bharat, which are penetrated into this, so that it is driving away the youth from getting attracted to the Naxalism, because they know there is no future in it. There is much better, more dignified, more lawful occupation, the vocation outside the Naxal domain. So the control of the Naxal over the area has been addressed. And once they have lost control, then part of them will run away to, see, wherever there is a control, that is where most of the people throng, including from the other side. So it is something like political defection. This is a Naxal defection. So Naxals are defecting to the mainstream. That is a very good sound. Naxals are getting hurt. That is also a very good good. Whether they are arrested, they are gone through the process of law, or they become whatever you call them, get killed in the encounter. That is also is purely an encounter. And as a sequel to that, they are losing volunteers. They are losing fresh recruits. Their leg power is gone. All aged people are there. The hardcore are all aged. So they don't have the leg power to run the entire system. Besides that, the arms and ammunition supplies. Earlier, even from Gadchiroli, from Gondia, several places the arms used to come. Even in the police encounters, when they used to have, the policemen's arms were snatched. Those things have been controlled. So there are a host of there are many elements which, if you start counting them, there are many elements. So it is all because of political resolute action. The resoluteness of the political will is the only basic reason. The template, as beautifully explained by Mr. Previous speaker, yes, the template is enlarging. It is all-encompassing. It is a very what is called acceptable template. It is all inclusive template, I can call it. It's a very, very inclusive template that we don't want to go and kill a person for a mistake, for some radicalization which happened to him at the age of 30. But as long as he comes and joins us mainstream, that is the basic theme of this entire thing. That is why we have successes, and that's a very, very inclusive type of policy. And I'm sure if taken out by March 2026, the country can be eradicated of Naxalism.
Okay, Major Dhruv Kotoj, your thoughts on the same as well. So I want to understand from a military perspective as well, that what in your assessment has really changed in the past 10 years for us to be in a position where we can make the promises that we're making, and how do you view the pace at which we are now looking at anti-Naxal operations taking place, while at the same time there continue to be reports almost on a weekly basis of surrenders happening as well. So it seems that everything is happening in conjunction. It is not this or that, but it's all happening together. Your assessment of how we've arrived at this point, sir, and what to do next to make sure that this momentum doesn't break.
Thank you, Devika. Devika, for a very long time, I have maintained that ultimately the solution to such problems, is political penetration. Mr. Mani used the word political will. It's the same thing, really. You see, once you penetrate into an area politically, now that means you need reach. That means you have to have a communication system which goes there, which means really you have to have a road which reaches there. Then you have electronic communication so that you can actually reach the people, If you are not in a position to talk to the people in some manner, and I'm not talking about the Naxal per se, I'm talking to anybody in that remote areas, then you lose the power to influence. I think this is something which has been done very successfully by the government, that political will was there. Once the people get together and say, okay, let's solve this, they set a time frame for themselves. Over the next 10 years, let's have an improvement, next 15 years or whatever it is. It is not something done in a 6-monthly or 3-monthly basis. You have a long-term vision, then you set smaller targets and you go by them. I think that is one thing which has really changed the situation. One. Number two, in my view, I think the security forces now are better trained, better motivated, better led, and that has made a difference. Now, so long as you are in a position to go into the jungles and actually hit them where they are hurt, now that creates an impact. So long as you are not in a position to go and hit them in the heights, then there will be a reluctance on the part of the Naxals also to even surrender. They will continue. The third thing is, I think the ability of the Naxals, every time it gets downgraded or degraded, their capacity to hurt the family members of the existing Naxals, should they surrender, gets degraded also. Now, this is a very important fear in the mind of Naxals, the people who have joined, that if I switch ranks now, they will target my family and I don't know how to protect them. Once that ability to protect, the threatening ability of the group goes down, then more and more people start surrendering, more and more people come out into the open. And as that continues to happen, the ability of the Naxal leadership to target the main mass again reduces. So there is a combination of factors. I think it has been done very well by the, let me put it very straight, the security forces, the police forces of the state and the center have put up great sacrifice. There is no other word for it. It has been a great sacrifice and they have done it very well. Without that sacrifice, we couldn't have gone ahead. Having taken that part, that there's a very strong security component, the other component was really this political pen. You made the roads. You went systematically and kept on going village by village, kilometer by kilometer into the interiors, and then the space for the Naxals to operate kept shrinking. Along with that were initiatives also by the center. The center has given great support to the states. And I think one thing which was lacking, I'm talking about 3 decades back, even 2 decades back, perhaps it was lacking, was there was a disconnect between what was happening at the central level and at the state level. I think that is history now. The state forces and the center and the state police forces and the central forces, they've got excellent rapport and excellent cooperation. Either if you look at Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand or wherever, because the problem used to be that if the Naxals shifted from one state to the other, then there was a coordination gap. I think those coordination gaps are not there anymore. It doesn't matter where the Naxals go, the security forces are coordinated and you get after them. So when you look at them as a combination, I think all of it has worked very well. And lastly, I will say the political will exerted by the center. You see, so long as the center is on the center and the states are on the same page and they both express the same political resoluteness. Now you aren't playing politics with the Naxal problem. You are actually addressing through politics the Naxal problem. Now there is a huge difference in that. So we are not having political parties trying to rival each other over the issue and then you're cutting each other. Here I think you're cooperating with each other and now you have got a solution. I think I was skeptical initially when I heard the Home Minister give this target date of March of next year. But I think there's reasonable ground to be optimistic about it. And the way, as Mr. Mani has very clearly stated, that the money supply is being addressed. So now the money supply is getting constricted, the geographical space is getting constricted, their leadership is being targeted, and all of that is making a difference. I personally have an experience of one of the very senior people who amongst the NGOs who was working with the Naxals, and he told me very clearly. He says, "Can you approach the government of India? Some of them want to surrender." I said, "No, they have to approach the government of India themselves." You see, the question is, it doesn't work with third parties. So I said, those means have to be directly between the Naxals and the government agencies, whether it's the state government or the central government. And that gives you better bets, otherwise third party intervention really never works. So I think it's a very positive development. I am very hopeful. I commend the states, the dealing states, regardless of the political party, that doesn't matter. I commend the security forces and the local police. I think they have done very, very well, and their sacrifice has finally paid off in the success we have seen in these 5 dozen plus surrenders which have taken place today.
Yes, Mr.
Devika.
Awasthi, then I want to understand from your perspective, sir. Has the road to development reached some of these regions enough, and what would you suggest should be the way forward? Because somewhere, of course, a better life has to be offered at all points for people to give up arms. I'm sure that at some scale that is happening, but in your assessment, since you've seen the areas closely, what more can be done on that front?
See, like when Mr. Modi has taken over as Prime Minister in 2014, a clear-cut policy started that development and the eradication both should go together. So, if you say 2015 onwards or say 2016 till today, last 10 years, in entire Naxal area, see the red corridor, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, we see from that perspective what is happening. Like the area they were covering, they were having, that was called liberated zone. They, in their language, they were calling it liberated zone, is shrinking. They had more than 40,000 square kilometer of area. Now it is shrinking to a very little pocket. So wherever the security forces have gone through, we have opened a lot of camps in inside their areas, which was called their dominance. In those areas, villagers have come close to the security forces. They are not only giving information, but associating, like giving milk, vegetables, eggs, and other things to the security forces. So the trust deficit between the security forces and the common man has been eradicated almost everywhere. Government is developing, schools are opening, roads are we have made lot of roads in those Naxal areas. Schools are opening, hospitals are also coming. Even this mobile thing is also like towers. Lot of towers with the help of Government of India have been opened in those areas, so communication is better. Vehicles are coming and people are moving. Now they are seeing the light of the development. I feel personally that it is coming very well, and government's approach in both the ways, like developing the area as well as if you are surrender, you are welcome. If you don't surrender, we will fight it out. These are the ways to develop, and many schemes government have done for the development of that area. And so I think once you give them some kind of employment, some kind of hull, what we say in the language of farmers, if you give them hull, they will leave these barrels and guns and bullets. They will come to the mainstream, and I am hopeful that the country will see in a day, next year, we will see the almost Maoist free India and the development of the country. Those areas which are full of mining and forest and natural produce, tribals upliftment will also be there with these policies. I think the best days are coming after so many years of independence in the country.
Absolutely. Mr. Arvis, when I leave the last word with you, sir, I want to understand from your perspective as well, what more should be done as far as the development front is concerned?
See, General Katoch had already said that yes, we are working on it through communication, the engagement and all. Mr. Awasthi has really worked on the field. They know it very well. Yes, the things are happening, and I am very optimistic that going at this momentum, the same momentum is maintained, Home Minister's target, I am very optimistic it will come true. Because now we are also, as I said, say for example, the skilling, these areas have very high level of local skills and local artisans and local resources that are being harnessed. Somebody like a Development Commissioner Handicrafts is actually working on, a Central Silk Board is already working on it to highlight it and bring it out so that the entire nation realizes it. That type of a recognition is also going. It is beyond the skilling, beyond the occupation, beyond vocation. Even their own culture, their own beautiful products are being promoted, recognized all over the world. So there are several other ways, so that they take pride in being a Chhattisgarhi, they take pride in being a Bastar, they take pride in being belonging to Kanker or in Orissa, Kalahandi or wherever it is. So that is what the government, it's also happening, actually it's happening on the field. So I think if this is the momentum, if it is maintained and if they continued like this, the day is not far and there will be no, Naxalism will become a history. very ugly history of the 20th century. That's what my personal hope is. Thank you very much, Devina.
Right, absolutely. On that note, I've run out of time, but I thank all of our guests for joining us on the broadcast to take this important conversation forward. We step into a very short break.